My name is Jim Hollensteiner. I am honored to have served on the board of directors of this institution since year one, going back 20 years or however long it's been. We've come a long way in those 20 years. This is now one of the outstanding museums in Montana, except for what's in Bozeman and Great Falls. But for smaller town museums, this gets very good marks. I'm happy to say that the Hollensteiner family has had a very close connection with Central School and the museum since its very inception. This was the first brick building that was built in the Flathead Valley in the mid-1890s. And I am even more proud to say that my grandmother, whose name was Jenny Stahl, her brothers, Art, Ed, and Jack, were the brick masons. They were the first brick masons in the valley. They made the bricks and laid the bricks to build this building, and also many of the buildings on Main Street. They got the clay to make the bricks from what is now the backyard of Anderson Macy out by Anderson Brickyard out by Woodland Park on the east side of town and below what used to be Rig Ford. So we've been involved. My father went to school here. His sisters both went to school here. Some great aunts went to school here. I went to school in 6th grade during the 1940s when I came to live with my grandparents because they wanted to see if they could shape me up. So we've been in and around Central School and the museum for a long, long time. The eagles, which you see behind me, are a very interesting and special bit of history in not only the Flathead and the state of Montana, but the United States of America. I am proud to say that these are the oldest mounted bald eagles in the world. Now that's stretching a little bit because bald eagles don't exist on every continent. They are a creature of North America. There are different kinds of eagles that are in Europe, South America, Asia, or wherever. But the eagles are here because I acquired them from the previous owner of what was the Eagle Shoe Store. The history of the Eagle Shoe Store is interesting. My grandfather was the freight agent in Demers, loading and unloading the boats that came up Flathead Lake and the Flathead River to bring goods to the valley and also on up to the gold fields in British Columbia. But when the railroad came through in the early 1890s, the center of commercial activity moved from Demersville to what is now downtown Kalispell. My grandfather and his good buddy Tom Bogart started a shoe store on Main Street. The first few years it was Bogart and Hollensteiner Shoe Store. In 1892, a trapper came in and said, "Hey guys, I really need a new pair of boots. I don't have any money, but my feet need some new shoes, new boots. I'll tell you what, I just killed 2 bald eagles out on the Flathead River, and I will trade this eagle for a left boot and this eagle for a right boot." And so they made the switch. Shortly thereafter, my grandfather and Tom Bogart said, "Those eagles are such a mainstay of the Flathead Valley, we're going to change the name of our shoe store from Bogart and Hollensteiner Shoes to the Eagle Shoe Store." And it remained as the Eagle Shoe Store until the 1970s when it then went out of business. Tom Perry was the first employee of the Eagle Shoe Store. His son, also Tom Perry, took the eagles and had them stored in his garage for a few years, but he was kind enough to give them to me a number of years ago. So I inherited them. They've been on display in what was the Eagle Shoe Store and more recently Rocky Mountain Outfitters, the public library, and then to the museum here in downtown Kalispell. But these are the oldest bald eagles in the world. I have done whatever research I've done. I've contacted the Smithsonian. I've contacted the Natural History Museum. I have contacted the Forest Service. They in turn contacted every one of their districts around the country. I've been in touch with, and I'm also a member of a number of bald eagle societies. Nobody knows of any bald eagles that are as old as these. These are unique in the United States. Obviously, the bald eagle is a protected bird. You cannot buy or sell or hunt them. The Native Americans have special rights, but since the 1950s, they've been a protected bird. And so here they are. There are relatively few bald eagles on display in any museums in the country just because you can't have them. We're fortunate to have 2 of them here, and there's a few elsewhere around the country, but they're not very many. These are unique guys, and it's very special to have them here at the museum at Central School in Kalispell.